Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Dawn Vanderstoop and I have been creating in PanPastel for over 7 years. And with that, I'm really excited to be able to share this groundbreaking news that Golden has just released 53 brand new colors for the PanPastel line. As some of you might not know, Golden acquired PanPastel back in November of 2022. And with that, I've been waiting to see if what they were going to do with the line and if they were going to add some colors to fill some of these gaps. Now, when I say fill some of these gaps, you might be saying, well, what do you mean? But we're going to talk about today about how PanPastel is structured and why these gaps that I'm talking about are so powerful. So the biggest gap that they've had in this PanPastel line is they really haven't had a color that's in between a tint and the core color. And so you're constantly mixing those higher on the value scale colors, and it makes them a little bit dull. And you see it when you start working with the line quite frequently. And I've been working with it for so long that I was really starting to notice that that was something I would push against. And it would make me want to use other things like pastel pencils more and to incorporate sticks because I just couldn't get the color saturation that I wanted with the line. And it took me a while to figure it out. So I'm going to start off talking a little bit about how PanPastel is structured. And they are structured into families. And with that family, there's a core color in each one. So for instance, this one is red iron oxide. So that core color, all of the other colors are basically mixed from it. And if I add black, I'm going to get red iron oxide shade. If I add more black, I'm going to get red iron oxide extra dark. And if I add white to the red iron oxide, I'm going to get a tint. Now with that, it's really wonderful that you can go and mix a lot of these colors. But what I've learned after 7 years of using them is that some of the mixing can dull the saturation. You don't get the vibrancy by dipping into the direct colors. So with them being professionally pre-mixed, I think it's really going to help be able to keep my vibrancy up in my paintings and have those colors to be able to mix in between them along the way. So that is the biggest game changer of this whole thing. They've basically added another color to almost every color in the line. As you can see, I have the whole line laid out here so you can get a big picture of how these new colors really are enhancing the whole PanPastel line. And I want to get started to talking about the primary colors in the line. And they've added a primary yellow that I think was really needed. They just really did not have a solid primary yellow. They've also added two colors to the permanent red, which I used as my primary initially. They have a red light and a medium. And then they've also added a primary magenta. And I think that is really fleshing out the pinks, the corals, and things that they just did not have. I had to mix, we had to mix all of our pinks and a coral. We never had peaches. So this is very exciting to have peaches, corals, and pinks. That is the biggest upgrade of this whole thing. Then we go over here to our ultramarine, and they have fleshed that out with two additional colors with a light and a medium. And I wanted to talk about the trays really quick because the trays, you know, when we first started out, I was using all the families in the trays this way. So I would have the tint, the core color, the shade, and the extra dark. So now we're just twisting that tray and we're able to put all of these families out in a little bit better of a way to see how they're laid out and still be able to use this tray system that I love. We have the ultramarine blue, which they've added that light and the medium. And then we go over here to our phthalo blue. And with this, it's nice having that intermediate blue between the tint and the core. So we have a cerulean blue, which really was needed. We didn't have a real fleshed out blue family. We also have our teal. This is my Payne's gray and my neutral gray. And all we had was turquoise, and then they've added the teal here, which they had no teal. We had to mix all of that. So we got two teals here. Then we go over here into our phthalo green family, and you can see how they've added in all of this line up here, they've added this color in between the tint and the core. And the phthalo green is, I use that a ton, and then we're going to go over into our permanent green. And then here is a brand new color family, which is a blue green. They've done a blue green and a yellow green, which I have been wanting what I've called a Kelly green for a long time. I mixed it all of the time. I felt like it was really lacking, and now we have Kelly green. We go over here to our chrome oxide green. I don't use this one as much, so they have fleshed that out, which is nice. And then we're going to go over here to our yellow green. That's a brand new family. And I have this right up against our bright yellow green, which I use a ton, our Hansa green. Well, it's Hansa yellow, basically. I want to call it, it's Hansa yellow, but when you go down in here, you get the greens in there. And then we have our Diera Live family. So that, getting that primary yellow in there, I think is going to be exciting to try out and see how that fleshes that whole yellow family out here. Now we have our yellow oxide, which used to be called yellow ochre. So if you have a yellow ochre, that is the same in the family. They have two brand new colors in here where we have a raw sienna, full color raw sienna family, and then we also have a burnt umber. And these are all more into the neutrals where we have our raw umber, and they've brought that color in so I don't have to mix that all of the time. I have my white and my blacks, and this is a very heavily used family, is the burnt sienna. So I use that a lot for my portrait work and getting those flesh tones, and I just am excited to have it pre-mixed now. Now we're getting into the most exciting part of the whole line that I think they've upgraded, and that's this vermilion. And I just think they're so pretty. I was always mixing peaches and corals, and they just dulled down so easily. So to have these pure forms just gets me super excited. And we go over here, like I've mentioned, about our permanent red. We got that light and the medium in there. But those are so exciting because we just did not have all of these pinks and peaches. So we go over here to our crimson. That's a brand new color, and our permanent magenta. And now that's next to our magenta. So we have a warmer and a cooler magenta that really fleshes out the whole family here. And then we have our violets, and that goes right up into our ultramarine blue. If you're interested in purchasing this brand new expansion pack of 53 PanPastel colors, I have a deal for you. I work with a local company called Merry Artists. I'll have the link below, but they have some of the best pricing on the web. They do ship to US only, but you can save on top of their already great price an additional 10% by using coupon code DawnVS. At the time of me recording this video, they are available for pre-order, which is worth the wait. As time goes by, I'm sure that will change, and I will update that in the description below. If you're interested in seeing how I'm going to be incorporating this new expansion pack into my pastel painting, come join me live every Tuesday here on YouTube from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a great way to connect with other pastel artists, and you'll learn some tips and new techniques along the way. I would love for you to share in the comments below about what color you're most excited about in this new expansion pack. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. All right, take care.